You know his name, but how much do you know about the franchise's climactic chase scene from License to Kill? From high-octane action to jaw-dropping stunts, let's uncover this underappreciated 1989 film. See what the international man of mystery has up his sleeves and examine why the tanker chase has cemented its place as one of the most unforgettable Bond set pieces. Before we get behind the wheel, we need some context. Story and tone matters. The Dalton films stand out and are notable for being dark. There's a level of grit that audiences haven't seen yet, even in the living daylights. Remember this guy? He's Felix Leiter, Bond's best friend, at least in a workplace setting. Played by David Hedison for the second time, with his first being in Live and Let Die 16 years prior. Felix had been portrayed by 5 other actors prior to License to Kill, and played by John Terry in the first Dalton Bond film, The Living Daylights. Bond doesn't exactly have a consistent track record when it comes to its cast. We're gonna be honest, these films are far from perfect, and the movie tries very hard to make the Bond and Felix relationship make sense. But due to the lack of continuity and consistency with that character, it almost doesn't. Timothy Dalton does a lot of excellent work as James Bond to realistically portray the trauma and emotions associated with that part of the plot to sell its revenge tale. Are there enough moments between Bond and Felix from these movies to build a meaningful relationship for Bond's turn to revenge to make sense from a script level? We'll leave that to your judgment. Now, onto the tanker chase itself. Shot on the Mexican Federal Highway 2D in La Rumarosa, Baja California, Mexico, which had been closed for safety reasons following several fatal vehicle accidents, Bond and Pam Bouvier arrive at the scene on a crop duster, which is more accurately a Piper PA-18 Super Club monoplane, piloted by Ken Kalman and coordinated and performed by aerial stunt supervisor and Bond double Corky Fornoff. The plane features a 40-pound Bond dummy in it, which was used to maximize the control of the aircraft, which had to be filmed during the morning when the winds were calmer. It had remote smoke grenades in the back of the plane that can be activated with a button for a later stunt. Our heroes track down drug lord Fran Sanchez, who's responsible for setting the sharks on Felix and killing Della Churchill, Felix's bride. During the wedding, Felix gifted James a lighter. Let's put a pin on this lighter for now. In comes James, landing very roughly on a speeding Kenworth 18-wheeler. The 3 principal stunt trucks were named Pamela 1, 2 and 3 after our main Bond girl, with Kenworth Mexicana providing on-site support during the many intense weeks of shooting. 16 of these metal titans were on set and can hold 200 gallons of gasoline for each tanker. Engage gunfire, hang for dear life, and already we're off to a tense, heart-racing start. They do a really fun mini one-sided knife fight in the cab. One-sided because he's fighting 007, not because the henchman is the one with the knife. Remember folks, PASS. Pull pin, aim, squeeze lever, and sweep side to side. Stay safe from fires. Check out this moment where Bond's tanker bumps another tanker into a wall. This was an accident, but it looked so wild that it was left in the film and the script and scene were reworked to accommodate this spontaneous crash. Let's talk about the accidents that occurred. Locals and crew members believed that the location was indeed haunted. Another truck and a driver went off the road and down a mountain. The stunt driver acted fast and jumped into the sleeper berth, which saved his life. A prop rocket had accidentally fired, hitting a utility worker on a telephone pole more than 2 miles away. One night a truck burst into flames for no reason, and sightings of apparitions around the trucks would disappear if someone went up to them. Not to mention that there was a photo of a flaming hand during the climax of the scene that only appeared in this photo and not in the rushes. The filmmakers saw it as an omen. Now, we're not saying the fatal accidents on this particular highway were linked to any of these stories that had been shared by the crew, but it's all very weird and very spooky. Steer clear of this highway if you can. Our next big scene involves a missile launched from a Stinger, which was an FIM-43 Red-Eye launcher, and then we witness this sick tilt that ends up landing on this unfortunate white Jeep. According to the late Larry Orr, the chief engineer at Kenworth at the time, the trucks, such as the driverless truck where a stunt driver can operate behind the driver's seat off camera, the back wheelie and side tilt trucks, and a truck with a supercharged 1,000 horsepower engine, that's close to 3 times the normal amount for a truck like that, were an exciting challenge to make and provide. Some went to the Detroit Diesel Allison dealership. The back wheelie and dual steer truck went to Truckwell to be modified, and the back wheelie had a suspension put on with a rear and front axle and a steering brake specifically installed to perform these mind-blowing tricks. They recruited Assistant Chief Engineer Mo Boeringrud to design the dual steer truck, who then published an instruction manual for the design that was sent to the film production team in Mexico. We've got to emphasize that work like this had not been done before by anyone ever. No one knew if they could control an engine with 2 throttle pedals independently of one another. Most of these truck stunts were performed by vehicle stunt supervisor Remy Julien. The most shocking and impressive part of this whole thing is that he didn't need some of these custom rigs at all. In other words, this stunt was done for real with no aid. I didn't think this was even possible with a vehicle of that scale. Isn't that simply amazing? If you like what you see here, well, buckle up, because part 2 takes it to another level. Your support means we can keep bringing content that matters to you. So why not give us a like and subscribe? Trust us, you wouldn't want to miss the explosive revelations coming up. We'll see you there.